This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You're watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
So I just watched a interview with Frank Warren on BT Sport, and it's about a half hour long or so, and I'll put a link to it in the description box, where for the first 17, 18 minutes I was enjoying it with Frank Warren. He's sat down with whoever's doing the interview on BT Sport, and he's talking about Anthony Yarde going to Russia, take on Sergey Kovalev. He's talking about Josh Warrington and the options that he has there, along with Carl Frampton and this, that and the other. Of course, Darren Dubois, Joe Joyce, all these kind of guys within the Queensberry stable. And I was enjoying it. I was enjoying a lot of the things that he said, and I agreed with a lot of the things that he said as well about the progress of certain fighters, what kind of direction they should be going in, etc, etc. So I can agree with all that, and I was enjoying it, I really was. But then of course the conversation switches to Dillian Whyte, Oscar Rivas, Eddie Hearn, failed UKAD test, alleged failed UKAD test, because as of right now we don't know the details. All we know is what Eddie Hearn has said so far, also what has been printed via Boxing Scene or whatever else, which apparently a lot of what's been printed is being factually incorrect, right? So right now we still don't know exactly what's going on, but some of the things that Frank Warren was talking about, I can agree to a certain point of view, but otherwise I can disagree. And again, I need some of you guys to correct. Maybe I'm wrong on some bits, but I'm pretty sure that the rules of the British Boxing Board of Control and UKAD for a alleged failed test is that until a B sample is drawn, it's private. So it's between, in this instance, British Boxing Board of Control, UKAD, Dillian Whyte and his management team, including Eddie Hearn, etc. So everything is private. This is protocol as far as I'm aware. So therefore, telling Oscar Rivas, if he's cleared to fight, what does Oscar Rivas need to know? You could say, as Frank Warren did, from a moral standpoint, sure. Okay, and again, I can agree with that from a certain point of view. I'm not going to hate anybody saying that Oscar Rivas should have known about it. But the point is, who should have told Oscar Rivas? It certainly wasn't Dillian Whyte, he's the fighter. Should it have been Eddie Hearn? Not really, he's the promoter. Because Frank Warren was saying that Eddie Hearn should be telling. But ultimately, if your fighter is cleared to fight, then shouldn't that really be the end of it? Again, you can understand that if potentially one day a B sample failed, or if something really terrible happened to Oscar Rivas in that fight, etc. Again, we can get certain points, that's for sure. But isn't that down to the British Boxing Board of Control and UKAD? Isn't that their rules? That they are the ones who inform, say for example, in this one, the WBC. Don't they inform Oscar Rivas? As in, isn't it their moral obligation to do so? Not Eddie Hearn. He's a promoter. A promoter is, you sell the show. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. But Frank Warren, he's talking about how morally an opponent should know. Eddie Hearn should have said, and had he had been in Eddie Hearn's position, regardless of the A sample, regardless of anything, it's under investigation. The case is going to be ongoing for however long it's going to be. Give Oscar Rivas the option to fight, maybe look at the insurance, maybe ask for a bit more money, give him the option to pull out, whatever it may be. It's what Frank Warren said. And again, is he right? Maybe. Is he wrong? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it really depends on how you look at it. But for him to say that, I have to look at certain situations that, again, I'm going on memory, because again, I could be factually incorrect, because I know Mick Hennessy was definitely involved somewhere along the lines, but I don't know about Frank Warren. And specifically, I'm going to be talking about Tyson Fury and Hughie Fury. And I believe that Frank Warren, wasn't he managing Hughie Fury at the time? I don't know about Tyson, I don't know. But regardless, I'm pretty sure that he would have been clued in somewhere along the lines, because Frank Warren certainly took over the case at some point as well, especially when Tyson Fury was trying to get his license back. Frank Warren was heavily involved. But was he involved in the beginning? I really don't know. But regardless of that, whether it was Frank, whether it was Mick Hennessy, or maybe someone else, who knows. But when you look at the Tyson Fury and Hughie Fury case, which by the way, I believe that these guys were innocent, as in, I don't believe that they took something intentionally. I really don't. If something got into their system, I believe it was accidental, lack of knowledge maybe, or just whatever it may be. I don't think that they deliberately took steroids or injected or whatever it may be. I don't believe that they did that on purpose. But regardless, Hughie and Tyson both got tested or the A sample was tested and failed in February 2015. They then got charged in June 2016. So you're talking, what, a 16-month difference between the A sample and potentially a B sample. So basically nothing happened for, 16 months. So let's go back to, let's just look at Tyson Fury to start with, and then we'll move to Hughie. So Tyson, we know that he eventually took a 2-year backdated ban. So it's on his record. Maybe he did it just to get back in the ring to stop the case. Fair argument. But it happened in February 2015. Who did he fight in February 2015? Christian Hammer. Did Christian Hammer know that Tyson Fury had alleged to have failed a UKAD test? Tyson Fury also fought Vladimir Klitschko before he was charged. Did Vladimir Klitschko know? Because we didn't know, did we? We didn't know for a long old time until, June 2016. Why? Because of the Privacy Act. Let's go over to Hughie Fury. Again, February 2015. On the 21st of February 2015, he fought Rudenko. Did Rudenko know? And then between February and June 2016, Hughie Fury fought 6 times, from Rudenko all the way up to Fred Cassie. Did all those opponents know? So again, depends on which side of the fence you want to look at, isn't it? It really is. We could go into, say, Billy Joe Saunders, because one part, Frank Warren is saying, but he failed a test, therefore he shouldn't be fighting until it's investigated. But yet, when Billy Joe Saunders, when he failed a VADA test for what turned out to be a nasal spray apparently, but he passed UKAD. And because he passed UKAD, Frank Warren was saying that he should still be fighting Demetrius Andrade for the WBO middleweight world title. So therefore that fight shouldn't be cancelled, blah, 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 blah. But he failed VADA, but passed UKAD. But Frank's saying the fight should still go ahead, right? Isn't that what he was saying? But in this instance, with Dillian Whyte, yes, he failed allegedly he failed a UKAD test, or there's a query over a UKAD test, but he's passed VADA, which again, WBC didn't need to know about anything. Although apparently, I'm hearing that a representative of WBC was at the meeting. Again, don't know, or at least with VADA. So because he passed with VADA, WBC didn't need to know about it. So Dillian Whyte passed one and allegedly failed another. Just like Billy Joe, passed one, failed another. So I think he's been a little bit hypocritical from that point of view. I'm sure there's some kind of standard that Frank Warren would argue about. Sure, as I said, I'm not an expert on this. I'm not involved behind the scenes. Or again, all we know is what was printed at the times. So if Dillian Whyte passes VADA and there's a query on the UKAD, and Frank Warren saying he shouldn't have fought anyway, but he didn't have that same effort when it was Billy Joe. When Billy Joe failed VADA but passed UKAD because of in-camp and out-camp, or in-competition, out-competition rules. Isn't it still a fail? And again, that didn't get resolved for quite some time. But Frank Warren is saying that a fighter shouldn't fight, but when it's Billy Joe, he should have fought. Again, I believe the nasal spray thing with Billy Joe. And there's multiple examples of that. So I don't quite know what it is that Frank Warren's getting at. Had it been his fighter, Dillian Whyte, I'm pretty confident that he would have a totally different outlook on the whole situation. Again, we don't know the details. Frank Warren doesn't know the details. He can only give an opinion on what he's read and what he's heard. But again, he's saying that people within UKAD or British Boxing Board of Control, I forget which one, didn't want the fight to go ahead with Dillian Whyte. And he knows that for a fact. Right, okay, so who told you, Frank? Because again, it's supposed to be private. What's it got to do with Frank? So again, who there, either at UKAD or British Boxing Control, are talking to Frank Warren about it? Who there spoke to the boxing scene about it, when it's all meant to be kept quiet until a fail, really, to their suspension, for example. Much like Tyson Fury, Hughie Fury. These guys went 16 months and nobody knew about it. 16 months until they were charged with it. Tyson Fury had 2 fights, as I said. Christian Hammer within the month of February 2015, then Vladimir Klitschko. Hughie Fury had a fight in the month of February against Rudenko and had 5 more after that. Subsequently, they both apparently, according to some reports, we know for Tyson for sure he got a backdated 2-year ban. Hughie apparently got some kind of ban as well. But where was his ban? At what point did Hughie Fury miss out, other than the fact where he took himself out for a year due to his skin condition? So did Hughie Fury actually receive a ban? I don't know about that, but anyway, listen, that's my thoughts on it all. I mean, as I said, I can agree with Frank from a moral standpoint for sure, but it's business and there's certain rules. Is it Eddie Hearn's job to tell Rivas? Is it British Box Board of Control? Are they not the ones who's supposed to liaise with all parties and, of course, including WBC, as it was their title on the line? Isn't it their job? I don't agree with Frank Warren saying it's Eddie Hearn's job. Maybe Eddie Hearn was supposed to tell them. I don't know. I don't know the rules. But anyway, hopefully some of you guys do and will clarify the situation for me. Anyway, I hope I've made sense. Of course, you drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up and subscribe. Catch you all on the next one.